Hey, folks. Hey, New Prospect family. Today is February 2nd, and so we're going to be talking about one of our readings for RTB this week. Another good set of four readings from Genesis 34, Mark 5, Romans 5, and what I'm going to talk about today, Job 1. Some great readings today. Hopefully, you've gotten those in, or what's been interesting, what I've loved to hear is the creative ways that folks have broken it up through the day or uh, engaged as a family, or it's been really neat. Folks have been really creative with this, so it's been a lot of fun. So maybe you've done all the readings, maybe you haven't. However you are doing it is a lot of fun and really great. So we're just thankful for your participation and your engagement with this. It's been a lot of fun. So I wanted to talk today about Job 1. We're kicking off, we wrapped up Esther yesterday. And so we're launching into the book of Job, which is a fascinating book, so interesting, a lot of interesting themes. And a lot of people like to read Job 1 or Job as maybe looking for an explanation of why bad things happen to good people. Because if you look in Job 1, boy, I tell you, if anything, if anybody should have been left alone and had it pretty easy in life, should have been Job. He's described as a righteous person, upright. If he had a banquet or party at his home, I love this. As I read this passage again, I've read the book of Job so many times. I love this book. It's challenging. It's encouraging. But there was an interesting thing that I read, and I've read before, but I don't know, it's interesting. It said in verse 5 of chapter 1, it says, whenever a round of banqueting was over, Job would send for his children and purify them, rising early in the morning to offer burnt offerings for all of them. For Job thought, perhaps my children have sinned, having cursed God in their hearts. This was Job's regular practice. How many times have I read that and seen that and thought, man, he really was a good guy? We've just come to know, having, if you've read the book of Job, I guess we've taken for granted that he was such a good guy and he was a righteous man, as Scripture describes him. But for some reason, that just really struck me. I guess maybe as my children are getting older, maybe I'm thinking I need to daily purify them or do something. I don't know if I'm doing enough. So a good challenge there for me as a dad to make sure that I'm covering my children well. But a lot of people look at Job, especially Job 1, because in Job 1, we see the scene in heaven where Satan, one, has access to to God himself, and he has an audience with God, and he's accusing Job. He's saying all kind of slanderous things about Job. But at the end of the day, really, is he slandering Job? The shots are more at God, right? He's kind of bad mouthing Job, and he's kind of daring God to let him mess with Job so that he can prove that God's not worthy of this loyalty and this. And so, the Lord asked Satan, where have you come from? And Satan says, from roaming through the earth and walking around on it. The Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? No one on earth is like him, a man of perfect integrity, fears God, turns away evil. And Satan just says, yeah, right, Says, stretch out your hand, strike everything in, and he'll curse you to your face. And in verse 12, you would think God, this is interesting. A casual reader would be like, well, God wouldn't let anything happen to his people, right? But God goes, very well. Everything he owns is in your power. However, don't lay a hand on Job himself. And then Satan just goes to work. It says he left the Lord's presence. And then all of a sudden, these things start to befall Job, these horrible experiences and these tests of his faith. And so God was allowing Satan to torment Job, to take away maybe some of these idols. Job is an upright man, but nobody's completely perfect. But I came across an interesting quote recently, and and it had been just kind of going through my head a lot, anyways, just thinking about the pandemic and what we've been going through as people, just everybody, not just the church, just everybody. What we've gone through because of the pandemic and the challenges that is faced. And as I was reading Job, I thought, boy, if anything, Job is a good perspective book. It puts things in perspective. Maybe it's not so bad. But I came across an interesting quote from a friend of mine, and he had said, "Nothing touches us that has not first flowed through the fingers of our God. That's why we can completely trust him." Let me say that again. Nothing touches us that has not first flowed through the fingers of our God. That's why we can trust him completely. It's a beautiful picture. So what happened to Job seems unfair from an earthly perspective. From a Christian perspective, it's like, boy, he's done everything right. Why target this guy? Why not some wretched sinner that needs his attention gotten? Why this guy? But I don't think I think we overblow the why does bad thing happen to good people angle. I think this just gives us great encouragement, this passage, at least for me, and I just wanted to share my thought there, that God is over everything. Nothing that happens to us did not flow through his fingers first, and so we can trust him. It's not that, why do bad things happen to me? Why is this bad thing happening to me? If I'm dealing with a situation, then it flowed through the fingers of God. And so maybe it's to teach me something. Maybe it's to stretch my faith. Maybe it's to challenge me or to change my perspective. The book of Job is a great perspective changer. So whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're going through, I just wanted to give you that encouragement as you read, as we start to work through the book of Job over the next several days. And you look at Job's experience and you look at your experience. Let's just think, what's happening to me, what I'm experiencing first flowed through the fingers of God before it got to me. So maybe, just maybe, he's using this to shape me, to mold me, to define me, to challenge me, to grow me. I'm not sure. But pray about that. Ask God. Be like, God, why is this my situation today? Use it for your glory. What are you going to teach me out of this? It's a whole different perspective. It's something good we can get from the book of Job, but hopefully as we walk through the book of Job over the next several days. So hope you have a great day. Enjoy the readings today. Thanks for hanging out. Love you. Praying for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe.